watching Love Island really kind of healed some things for me. It really did. You could be a vintage Chanel in prime condition, but if somebody is looking for a Gucci Marmont bag, they're not going to choose you. And that's fine.
Not to get too deep and sound like a trad wife, but I do think that Western culture now, specifically women, we are in so many spaces where we are constantly leaning into our masculinity.
Yeah.
We're constantly having to be go-getters. We're climbing up corporate ladders. We're leaning in. We're girl bossing. That it can unfortunately lead to you feeling like you need to earn love or that you need to overstay your welcome or prove yourself in your value.
You ever say something and think, wait, was that a teeny bit much?
I mean, if you have to ask, it probably was. But guess what? We're saying it anyway. So if you've ever been told you were too loud,
Too sensitive,
too opinionated,
or just a bit much?
good news, you found your people.
Because we're not toning it down anymore.
Welcome to A Tini Bit Much.
The podcast where being too much isn't something to fix.
It's something to own.
Welcome back to A Teeny Bit Much podcast, the podcast for women who've always been just a little too real to play it cute for love.
We're your hosts, Krystal and Chissy, and today we're pulling wisdom from a very unexpected place.
That's right. We're talking about Love Island season 6 and 7 and what it taught us about dating, love, and worth.
Whether you're a Serena, a Jana, or a Leah, this one's gonna hit.
Yes. But before we get into that, what couldn't you get enough of this week?
Girl, this week I could not get enough of old TV, specifically, well, not even old TV, but Bridgerton, girl. I have been rewatching Bridgerton like crazy. I don't know what it is.
Or just...
Specifically the Queen Charlotte season. So tea. Like, wow.
I can't, to me, it's so too sad for me to rewatch half. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, she was a powerhouse.
That's true.
But what about you? What couldn't you
Girl,
get enough
I
of
thought
this
we were
week?
about to be twinsies because I was going to say 90s TV. I thought that's where you're going. I haven't watched TV in a long time. I really have just been like YouTubing, right? And this week I was like, let me go watch long form content. Let me go watch TV. And I started watching the shows, 2 shows in particular, really one and a little bit of a second. Xena Warrior Princess.
Okay, that is a throwback, girl.
I started watching Xena Warrior Princess and some Hercules. And it's so corny, but it's so like, it's just so like comfort watch. Like it's so nice. It's so familiar. I don't know.
I don't blame you. Now that we're about to be officially into fall, like end of October fall, I cannot wait to start Gilmore Girls and watch that and be like cozy.
I couldn't get into Gilmore Girls.
It's one you have to just really be in the vibe, but also I'll probably watch Gossip Girl again because I love Gossip Girl. And I don't know why Gossip Girl reminds me of the fall.
Really? I can see why Gilmore Girls would remind you of the fall because it is giving that fall preppy. But you know what? How preppy it is? You would think I would love it, right?
Right.
But I don't know what it is, girl. I can't get into it for real. But I love that. So going along with our main episode, I know some people might be confused. Why Love Island? What can Love Island teach you?
Well, if you know Chissy at all, you should not be confused, y'all. She is obsessed with Love Island, specifically season 6, to the point where sometimes I have to ban her from messaging me about it because, honey, the show came on like a year and a half ago, and we are still locked into all the season 6 tea, okay?
Let me tell you something. Love Island is part of the reason I'm taking a social media break.
Really?
Yes. Because I'm like, you have to unplug. Everything in me is like, just unplug. But like, okay, here's the thing. Love Island is a lot of things, and not all of them are great. Not all of them are positive. One of my friends calls Love Island demonic. But
I wouldn't say demonic. I would say just a little bit freaky.
it is
It's
an
a lot of
overly
freaky
it's a
frogs.
freaked out show. It's a freak out mess. And I really feel like it detracts from the show. I feel like sometimes that's way too much going on. But if you pay attention, I feel like there's so many lessons you can get from Love Island. Like there's so many life lessons to pull for women and men, but just as a woman that's still single, dating, I just feel like there's so many lessons to pull. And it's such a study on like maturity, feminine energy, and what it means to like really just value yourself to a certain level where you stop accepting certain things. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode on Love Island, what season 6 and some of season 7 taught us about love.
Yeah, y'all. And in order to do this, I actually had to watch slash rewatch season 6 because, honey, I just couldn't. Too many episodes. Like, and too many tongue kissing scenes for me. But we rewatched the episodes and we each came up with 5 lessons that we learned from Love Island season 6 slash season 7.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you kick it off, Chizzy, because this really is your field
this is my bag.
knowledge.
Okay, but I'll definitely kick this off because this is kind of my baby. So the first thing Love Island taught me, and just to give some background, right? Last year, I'm in a much better place about like my romantic life. But last year, I was kind of more bummed out about my romantic life. And watching Love Island really kind of healed some things for me. It really did. Because, especially, and that's why I have such an affinity and such a love for Janae. May she always prosper. Because watching Janae and her Love Island journey really taught me that, and I think it was Dita Von Teese who said, you could be the most delicious plum, but there will always be people who don't like plums. And it really taught me that sometimes it really is just the rooms that you're in, right? Like you can be as valuable, as beautiful, as sweet, as kind, as loving as you want to be. And some people will never see that because they don't value those things or they don't see value in you. You could be a vintage Chanel in prime condition, but if somebody is looking for a Gucci Marmont bag, they're not going to choose you. And that's fine, you know? So I really gained a lot. My first thing that Love Island taught me is that if a man is confused about you, he's already made his decision. Confusion is an answer. And in specific, a couple of things, right? When we look at Rob and Leah, right? Rob was very much confused when it came to Leah. He went back and forth. When the first bombshell came in, his head kind of turned, kind of didn't. And then Andrea, I was about to call it Andriana, but that's season 7. Andrea came in and his head was turned. And I think sometimes as women, especially when we got so much positivity and so much affirmation in the beginning, and then a man starts switching it up, like sometimes there's this thing in us that wants to like prove ourselves, that wants to like, oh no, like I am worthy, I am good, I am valid, right? Or like we want to like hang on to how good it was initially and how much, you know, how much validation and how much confirmation that they gave us in the beginning. But I feel like this is a classic thing when a man is confused, when a man seems indecisive, it's not your cue to do more, it's your cue to do much less. Another instance for season 7 with Olandria and Taylor, and season 7 irked me to my core. I really didn't want to watch season 7. I knew it was going to be terrible, and it was worse than I could have imagined. But there's still some blessings that we got. But watching Olandria and Taylor in season 7, and the like, I just felt like this man is not intentional. This man is not, and I think instead of always trying to sometimes like, oh, I just need to work, I just need to, you know, put in. I think there's, especially this early in the stages that these people are in and in our lives too, we should take more cues to exit stage left instead of trying to continue to perform. You know, I think we deserve security and certainty. And when a guy says, I'm not sure, the real answer is no, because indecision is a decision.
Yeah, and I think it goes into us. Some of us are wired to hustle for love. We are, and I think that's the problem with being, not to get too deep and sound like a trad wife, but I do think that Western culture now, specifically women, we are in so many spaces where we are constantly leaning into our masculinity.
Yeah.
We're constantly having to be go-getters. We're climbing up corporate ladders, we're leaning in, we're girl bossing, that it can unfortunately lead to you feeling like you need to earn love or that you need to overstay your welcome or prove yourself and your value. And so I think that's what it is too sometimes. Like those mixed signals, our minds are wired to say, oh, well, I can make this a yes.
Yeah. Because it's never a no, right? That's the problem. I think that's the hardest part. It's not like they're telling you no completely. It's just a, oh, I'm not sure, a maybe, a. So it's like there is this breadcrumbing, this nugget of hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes you're like, oh, well, he just needs more time or he just needs. But there's an article years ago that came out where the whole premise of the article was if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And it was for personals, like for you and your decisions, right? If it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. But also for other people towards you, if they're not exhibiting a hell yes to you, then it's a no. And I think carrying that is very, very helpful, where it's like, if you're not certain, we don't have to do this, right? Like,
Yeah,
we
and
can
it's
all.
interesting too because I always think about with my dating life. That's the thing, right? I never date bad
Yeah.
men. I never have men that are like no or treat me super poorly.
Hmm.
It's always just like you said. It's not terrible. It's not, but it's also not amazing.
Yes.
It's that gray area and how, and I don't think that gets talked about enough. Sometimes when people talk about dating, it's like such extreme stuff where it's like, well, no, I'm not
He
being
took
asked.
my car while I was at
Or
work.
yeah, or
and
like,
he's-
no, I'm not being asked out on a coffee date, but also I'm not being treated how I deserve to be treated, right?
Right.
And not allowing for myself to stay in the gray too long. And so,
I think also what's been hard for me is like sometimes in some areas, right, it'd be a hell yes or it'd be great treatment, right? Where it's like, oh, we go to really nice places. He does this, he's sweet, he's that. But in other areas, it's maybe where it comes to like the level of commitment or what they're able to like give you that you really want. And so realizing that taking with people meeting certain boxes and not meeting others, it's still overall a maybe, right? It's
and not meeting the crucial boxes, right? Because
right.
nobody's going to meet all of your boxes, but there's a difference between a box of being exclusive
Hmm.
versus a box of, oh, he keeps his house a little dirty.
Right,
Those
right,
are
right,
not the
right.
same box. And I
Right.
think sometimes it's easy to overlook box A because you're adding up all the other boxes. Like, oh,
Yeah.
he's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, he likes to spend that cash.
He's 6'4".
Oh.
Like he
We
he
know
do
I
this
love
that,
a
and
tall
she
man.
love a tall man. And so sometimes it's hard where it's like, oh, but he's this and that. And also sometimes it's hard when it's like, he's what I pictured.
Yeah.
Right? He's what I pictured, but the treatment is not, or
Right.
the commitment is not. So it's like he's my type of guy. Sometimes gets in the way of like this is my type of treatment.
Yes.
So yeah. What about you, Crystal?
Okay, my first one, and this is shout out to Janae because this was so important to be on TV, I think. But being soft doesn't mean being weak. I think one thing that I absolutely loved about Janae is that Janae was a true lover girl.
Yes.
And one thing I always laugh at is like my white homegirls have that same energy where like they love loudly.
Mm-hmm.
They meet a man on Monday. On Wednesday, he's the love of their life. And he's on their Instagram.
Yep.
On Friday, they're inviting him to Pilates with us because they want for us to meet him. I love that. And I feel like, unfortunately, for Black women, a lot of times that is shamed out of us.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to feel stupid.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to post somebody and then have to say, oh, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Or we just are so conditioned to think like men are going to disappoint us that we are not able to be truly like soft and delusionally in love.
Mm-hmm.
And I really loved how Janae just had that energy from the jump where she's like, I want to be married. I want to have babies. It's just something really refreshing about it. And I hope that other Black women saw that on TV and were able to kind of look at themselves and say, it's okay to love out loud.
Yeah.
It's okay to confess that you want to date and to feel girly pop about a guy. And also, too, it's okay to feel stupid because obviously we know what has happened
Right.
since then. And is it sometimes hurtful or embarrassing to have to take down the Instagram post, to have to say y'all broke up? Yes, we've all been there. But guess what? You live life.
Yeah.
Like, one goes, another one comes. And I just really appreciate how she handled the breakup with such grace.
And I think one thing I do know, especially being older, is like you cannot safeguard for everything.
You can't.
There's no way to get out of this life unaffected unless you take no risk, no chance, and then your enjoyment is so limited. Because I feel like in my life, I've been way too cautious. I've been way too guarded. I've always tried to make the perfect choices. I've always tried to eliminate possible threats or things that might not work out. And then you just miss so many opportunities. You've missed so many chances at love. And so I love the fact that she was able and willing to love boldly and love freely and be soft and be feminine and not be afraid of putting herself out there. And I think, yes, you take risks, but you also take like big gains. I mean, life in general is a gamble, right? So you
Exactly.
have to jump sometimes. You have to like make the jump and make the leap. And if you have a great circle around you, people are going to catch you even when things fall
Yeah, and
apart.
there is no embarrassment. I personally, to me, my thing is like you experience things.
Yeah.
It happens. It doesn't work. I have definitely went through where I had to archive the Instagram
Mm.
post. It is what it is. Like it happens. And again, I only see it with my black homegirls. My white homegirls, these are never conversations I have about like being afraid to be bold about dating
So
and
wait, let me ask: is soft launching a boyfriend a thing in your white homegirl circles?
no, it's never like it's not even a
There's not
conversation.
the emoji covered face, the hands.
It's not even like a thought process. Literally, it's like, this is Hank. I met him on Tuesday, and I'm posting Hank on Wednesday because we're at the bar. It's just not even factored, right? And if
Hmm.
Hank is gone on Friday, and then Sam is there on Sunday, that's how life went. There's no question. And I'm not gonna ask any questions because it's like this is their dating. It's not
Yeah.
that deep. Like,
And you know what's crazy? I had realized too, because when I was looking back at like some notes, and I'm like, we even with each other as close as we are, we would give like guys like that we were
code
talking to
names.
code names.
It's so weird. And then it only helps the guy, which we're going to have a whole episode about that. But like,
Hmm.
this is not beneficial to women for us to
No.
be moving like he's a CIA operative. Why am I having to hide? And I was about to say a bad word. Why am I having to hide this man like this? What, like, are we dating or not? Because
Yeah.
a part of it too is like, is this a real thing? Are you trying to date with intention?
Yeah.
Or do I? Because the reason you feel the need to hide a man or give nicknames is because like you're not sure about it,
Hmm.
and that speaks to something totally different as well. Of like, why are you dealing with men that you can't be
Certain
sure of their
about. And
character?
why aren't you dating in community, which is such a foreign concept for us in this day and age. But like even like I think a year or so ago I was talking to Jaja and we realized that at one point we were dating the same
And you
guy.
see that only benefited him because y'all were out here calling him goggles, and she's out here calling him funky fresh. Y'all don't realize it's the same man. Now he has two wives and they're best friends, and they don't know they live down the street from each other. Like, no, it doesn't benefit anybody. So yeah, that's what I learned from Janae. Like, love boldly. Like, you can be a soft girl. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're gonna go for whatever. You can also check a man because she definitely got Kenny together in the softest,
Hmm.
sweetest way. And she
Hmm.
definitely knew when her time was up and it was time for her to get up out of there because it no longer served her. She didn't lose anything by being a soft girl who was a
Yep.
lover girl.
Yep.
Okay, what's your number two, girl?
Okay, so this one hits home for me and my personality type. And so my number two is your softness is not a liability, but neither is your boldness. And one
Mm.
thing I love from season 6 is Serena was who she was. She had a voice, she had a point of view, and she expressed it. Her light wasn't dimmed, and she was loved for being as expressive and as confident and as bold as she was. She did not have to play meek. She did not have to play small. She got loud when she needed to get loud. She was upset and she expressed being upset, and she was known and loved for who she was. And that really was such an enlightening thing because I think sometimes being a woman who is, I'm already a black woman, so there's the notions that come with that, right? And in corporate America, I mean, it is what it is. In corporate
No, I'm
America,
just thinking about also too how you do not hold your tongue. Every time I
I
think about this, I think about that birthday trip where you felt the need to tell me your. We're gonna sidetrack for a second, y'all. So me and her have been friends for a very, very long time. It's my 29th birthday. I've just got dumped. I'm going on a trip to Cancun that I booked with my ex-boyfriend, but we're not together anymore. So this breakup is fresh, okay? Chizzy's like, well, I'll go with you to Cancun. Perfect. I'm excited, right? We get to the airport, there's a tsunami. Not joking, y'all, there's a hurricane to the point where, like, may they RIP, people died in this hurricane. Like, that's how bad of a hurricane it was. We get stuck in the airport for how long?
Like 6 hours.
Like
7
6 hours. Y'all don't understand. Like, we're going from terminal to terminal trying to get out. We're having to eat whatever we can find in the airport.
And what she means by stuck is it's flooded outside.
Yeah, like there's no way to leave. We're stuck in the airport. All the flights are getting canceled. We go to the Hilton. We think we have a room booked because she's like, I booked us a room. We get there, and the girl's like, baby, this is for 2026. Like, it is just a horrible day.
We go to the airport lounges. They're not taking day passes because they're full.
Because they're full. We don't got, back in this day, this is before we had Amex, Platinum, all that, whatever, baby. We had a day pass, okay? We finally get on the bus. The bus is driving through feet of water, probably like 3 or 4 feet of water. It gets us to our car. I'm driving a little bitty car back in this time. We have to get on the freeway using the exit ramp. It was a horrible day. We could make a whole episode about it. But the point is, it's a terrible day. We finally get to a hotel that's nowhere near our house. It's a La Quinta. Shout out to the La Quinta.
Mind you, we're in Houston, but we can't go home because it's flooded.
The La Quinta, when I saw that La Quinta, it was like I had saw Noah's Ark and was like, literally I came in there and like, I think I hugged the lady like, thank you for having a room available. There was no room at the inn. You feel me? All this happens, y'all. Chissy says, I just want you to know, I feel really disappointed that you didn't seem excited to spend your birthday with me. Keep in mind what I've just been through. Why did you need to say how you felt? Why did you need to say? But that's an example of like, she likes to say how she feels. She needs to get it off her chest. Like, what's that saying? If it's on my chest, I'm gonna get it off. Like,
now, okay, to my defense,
what is the defense?
What I was actually saying was because now I've learned timing. I've learned timing with age and maturity. But I had previously asked her about going on a trip and she wasn't excited. But she had planned a trip with another group of friends. And I'm like, they don't be down for you as much as I be down for you, but you be riding with them. And so that was more so what I was saying, where it's like, even this trip, like almost anything Krystal wants to do, I'll be down to do. True or false?
That's true. But in my additional defense, planning a trip with other friends is a loose term. They tell me when to buy a ticket and I buy it. Like, I don't actively plan typically. So in my defense of that, it was like, we're going on a trip these dates, Krystal. This is where we're staying. This is how much money you owe. But I did understand what she was saying. And since then we did go on trips. But the point is, that was not the time.
It wasn't the time at all.
It was not the time nor the place.
It wasn't the time at all.
Side note, but
you know what's funny? I thought you were gonna say the time at the Bahamas.
We're gonna say that. It's gonna be a whole nother episode. But the point, you see multiple examples.
But the Bahamas wasn't with her. The Bahamas was with the guy. To my defense,
we don't get into another episode. But the point is, you see how we have multiple examples of her. She gonna get it off her chest.
So that's okay.
That's
and I am one who like biting my tongue. Don't know her. It doesn't matter what you're doing for me. You could be paying all of my bills. If I have something to say, it's going to be said. With love and grace, right, and kindness, I'm never, like, rude and crazy.
No, you're never rude or
crazy.
But
it's just like, can we talk about this? So I think watching Serena, like, have her conversations and I've always kind of wanted to be the girl who's like, oh, I'm just quiet. I'm soft-spoken. I'm reserved. I'm mysterious. I've always wanted that mystique. But that's just not who I am. Like, no. I am not someone who's like, I'm just not that girl. And so just watching her be who she was, watching her also, which I don't remember if I wrote this, watching her not be afraid to not be overly physical, not be afraid to like, not like kind of put her body as like a bartering chip for affection and just like define her boundaries in every way and stick to them. And still be loved, like to stick up for herself. And even also in season 7, watching Olandria stick up for herself. Like, I really appreciate seeing Black women, because we're always stereotyped as angry or aggressive or all of these things when we're just expressing ourselves, right? So watching that boldness, right, being appreciated and also being seen as vulnerability, which it is, because when I'm saying like, hey, that bothered me, that's me being vulnerable, because my initial reaction is to shut down, right?
Yeah.
And to disappear and to be like, they don't care about this. I'm just going to move different. So like also understanding that like our reactions, whether it comes, you know, soft or loud, is also a form of vulnerability. And so watching that being processed and accepted and not being put off as like, oh, she just has an attitude, but really being understood and understanding the base of where it's coming from. I feel like that really taught me that the right person will, and not to say that you can talk crazy, because I still believe very much in being respectful in how you present your issues to people, but the right person will not take in your outspokenness as a negative, but they'll appreciate your honesty and your authenticity.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, too, just on a more general, larger scale, I think it was really beautiful to see America and, like, just the general population allow a black woman to
Yeah.
have that reaction
Yeah.
and her not be called angry on Twitter, her not be disparaged because she did have, like, an emotional reaction to something.
Right.
And she did stand firm in her truth, because we know all too well that sometimes it's not even our partner that we worry about that from, but it's, again, like at work or in friend groups that might be diverse, being afraid that you're going to be labeled. So that's something for me I really enjoyed about it. Now, for me, my second one is you can be the whole package and still be returned to sender. And this is for so many seasons, so many examples. Like, obviously, we think about Olandria and Taylor. By all standards, Olandria is a total package. She's beautiful, body tea,
everything,
had a great personality, educated, carried herself very well, you know, seemed to really care for him. But no matter what she did, she was just not his cup of tea. And that's okay, right? Sometimes we can take that as a failure on our part, or feel like the rejection means something deeper. I know for me, like, recently, an example is that I met a guy and I just knew, like, the whole night, he's like, oh, you have such a beautiful smile. Like, it's so nice to meet people with great energy. So I'm like, okay, he's feeling me. You know what I'm saying? He's feeling me. Did not hear from that man. We, like, messaged a few times, but did not really hear from him again. And it's like, okay, no matter what I did, he's saying all these beautiful characteristics. Like, you have such a great personality. Da-da-da. It was not going to be for him.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. He could appreciate the work of art that I am. And he just still was like, that's a beautiful Mona Lisa, but I got to keep going because I want to look at Van Gogh.
Right.
Did Van Gogh do Mona Lisa?
I have no idea.
I don't
but
either,
like
but
it.
you get the point. You get the point. So, yeah, I think that's one. And then, of course, with Janae, I've like Janae's season 6, it was so interesting because so many men, like, I think realized how pretty she was, realized how great she was. And I don't want to just make it all physical features, but they saw, like, she had a very warm energy, whatever, but she just still was not their cup of tea. And it wasn't on her part. It wasn't a failure. It's just what it was. And you can't take it as a loss, you know?
I think a lot of times, and sometimes it's being so focused on self-help kind of sometimes can be a detriment, because you always think about, okay, how can I improve, right? How can I do better? How can I, you know, where can I iterate? Where can I get 1%, 5% better? But sometimes it's just not really about you. This just isn't a match. And really being able to just be like, okay, well, we're just not a match, and it's okay. I had a friend who actually said a comment that really hurt my feelings once, and she wasn't even talking to me, but we were in a group of girls, and she's married.
Oh my gosh, am I the friend?
No, you're not the friend.
Woo!
She's married, and we're in a group of girls, and this one girl was talking about dating, and like, yeah, I go on dates, and she's like, well, do you get second dates? And she's like, sometimes, but like, usually I don't want to go on them. Like, it's just no one I'm interested in. And she's like, yeah, you know, because just like a job, if you're not getting a callback or a second interview, there's something there. And I kind of got offended but I also recently learned, like, I think it's like 80% of women or people in general just don't go on second dates. Like, most people just have a lot of first dates, right? But also, I don't feel like dating and an interview are one-on-one, because one is a skill set that you can develop, and another is really just about compatibility.
And the thing, too, is I have no doubt that there are people right now who are married to somebody that they altered their entire being to be with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could go on dates. I'm very good at that. Like, I'm really good at reading people. And so I know how to, like, switch who I need to be. I can be a chameleon if I choose to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Low key, it's because I'm also used to be very manipulative, and it's something I worked through where I used to have really bad. I used to be a manipulator.
And a people pleaser.
Yeah, and a people pleaser, right? And they low key probably go hand in hand. One probably help the other. But like, would I be happy?
Right.
Right?
Right.
I think like it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you go being your authentic self, then yeah, we're probably not going to have a lot of second dates. But if you go and it's like, oh, I know he likes football, I'm going to talk about football, he's going to call you back a second time. Or, oh, I know he
Exactly.
likes to do this. But
Or
if
I'm
it's
just
not
gonna
your
agree
interest,
with whatever he's saying, or because I've heard some crazy wild takes, and it's like, oh, okay, like, but sometimes it's like, I mean, I don't need to have a debate with you, but I'm also not gonna feed in and act like this is normal because
yeah.
it's not. Um, but no, I really love that about Janae too, the fact that and Olandria, where you realize like, dang, this girl is a 10 out of 10, but really it's like these people may not appreciate it because also they may not value what you're seeing in her, right?
Yeah.
So it's really finding people who value the great things that you have to offer.
And I think that's such a good point, and I'm glad you have kind of realized that because let me tell y'all something else. She used to go on a first date, and if it did not go well, it would be like, well was so relative. Like
So
if she didn't
relative.
hear back, it would be like, oh, it went terrible. I'm never dating again. I'm taking a 4-month break. Blah blah blah. And it was like you just have to calm down about it. It's just not that deep. Like sometimes that is just not the lid to your trash can.
Mm.
And I don't know why I don't take it personally. I think it's because I'm like delusional sometimes. But like one time, a guy, y'all, mid date was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta go." Did it bother me? I literally called her laughing about it. Cause what am I supposed to do? Doubt myself every time it doesn't work out with somebody? No, like
That was really funny, and I'm like, well, could it have been work? And you're like, what did he do? I
I
feel
don't know.
like
He was like an engineer or something. Like it was definitely not work. It's like he's an engineer, and it's like the weekend. And it was like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, he probably thought I was fat. Like, whatever. But still, am I going to cry about it? No.
That's so true. And that is so helpful. So I do love that. Okay, so my number 3 thing that Love Island taught me, resting in your energy invites the right person in. Right?
Okay, explain.
And this is more so about like just being confident and being who you are and not trying to be who you believe people want to see.
Oh,
Right?
well, like we were just talking
Like we were
about.
just talking about, just being your authentic self invites the people who actually like what you have to talk about.
Yeah.
I think Serena was just, even also Cordell. I
And
feel
Leah, too.
yeah, like they were just really like who they were for better or for worse, their quirks. Not everything was a positive to some people, but like Cordell wanted a Cheez It sponsorship. That was his goal. He wanted to be, and it could have been so easy for him to say, like, oh, I want to start a business. I want to da da da, which probably he does because he probably is his own business at this point. But like, he really was himself and he really was just kind and funny and goofy. And Serena also is like, once you get to know her, it seems to be kind and funny and goofy. And Leah also has her own quirkiness, her own like quirky little like zingers. And so I feel like just resting in yourself, even and especially when you get negative feedback. Especially
Yeah.
when you get pushback where it's like, I don't like that, because Leah had a lot of negative feedback with Rob and that whole situation. And the producers apparently making her feel like she was the second coming of Satan, like, so it's so easy to feel like, okay, well, what do I need to change about me? And I do think, as far as actions, there's ways that you can present things better. There's ways that you can do things in a way that is more loving and kind and gracious, right? And we can always take that feedback. But I think of the core of who you are and what you like and dislike doesn't have to be palatable. And I think that's a big part of this podcast, not making yourself smaller, being okay, being a little bit much.
Yeah, and I think, like you said earlier, it's a fine line between self improvement and also sometimes just accepting that it's not something that needs to be improved upon.
Hmm.
Or it's not something, let me not say that. It's not something that's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like, could I improve this? Yes, but that doesn't mean it's inherently wrong. And even improve is a bad term. Maybe could I grow in this area is a better way to
Right.
put it. Because one thing I relate to Leah a lot with is like Leah was a highly emotional person. And
Hmm.
I am a highly emotional person. Like I am very emotional. I sometimes have outbursts. And it's something that I don't think is like, it's not wrong that I'm emotional. It's
No.
not wrong that I like to cry and feel things deeply.
Yeah.
Could I grow in certain areas of like maybe the way that I express it or things like that? Yes, but it doesn't always mean,
Yeah.
And I don't want to be with anybody that doesn't have patience for that. So me trying to stifle that and
Yeah.
pretend to be somebody else and to pretend to be a hard body woman that's never going to be me. Like, so me pretending I'm going to end up with somebody, he's going to be miserable, I'm going to be miserable,
Right.
we both miserable.
And I think when you learn to like embrace that, when you learn to like just all you can do is put out who you are, and then the people either want who you are or they don't. But when you learn to like embrace that, it becomes an armor, and the people who enjoy that will be attracted to you. And you don't
Yes.
really have to go chase. You just put out who you are, and the people who want that. Like even in season 7, one thing I liked about Shelly is Shelly really never chased anyone. She just saw who wanted her and made her choice, right? She just made
Yeah.
her choices from who was presenting themselves to her. And I love how she kind of just rested in a, okay, this is who I am, who's here.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's like, if no one's there, it's like, okay, if someone shows up, then I'll make a choice if there's a choice to be made. But like just resting and like, yeah, this is who I am. I have quirky things. I have hobbies. I like anime. I like whatever I like, and whoever is attracted to that, then that's what it is.
Yes, and for me, another thing that I really learned and took away is that being chosen doesn't always mean being loved well.
Mm.
And I think that obviously we're talking about a game show where like they're trying to win money. There's a reason that they want to be chosen. There is like an incentive. But I think even in my real life in dating, I have learned that sometimes we can become so attached to the results, and again it goes into being like successful people,
Yeah.
highly driven people, where you really will take the actual emotion out of it and you're more focused on the result. And if you do want companionship in a relationship, there is no result, right?
Yeah.
Because this is then a person that you are with hopefully for the rest of your life. You all will spend, so it's constant evolution. It's not like you win something. And I think sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, I'm trying to get this result, right?
Yeah.
I want to be married.
Yeah.
I want to have a boyfriend. It's
Yeah.
like, this isn't a thing that you have, it's a thing that you intertwine into your life and become a part of. So it's really important to not necessarily be so focused on the result. And I think so many examples of this on that show, obviously, like hello.
And I think I think sometimes we want just to win. Like I know sometimes like when things have ended with people and I really look back at it and I'm like, why does this bother me so much? And I realize, did I even like this person, or did I just want the win?
Yeah,
Did
I just wanted the validation.
Yeah, I just wanted that the person I wanted me.
Yeah.
And literally, if they had wanted me and I really had enough time, or wanted me in the way I wanted them to want me, because I think that's another thing. Sometimes it's particular. Like, no, I don't want you to just want me. I want you to want this with me, and I want you to pursue it in this way, and I want these things that I want. And sometimes when you get that, then you evaluate, and it's like, do I even like this person?
Yeah.
And we really just want the win. You just want the like, I got this person that I wanted. I got this relationship that I wanted. And I know some women who are married who I'm like, I don't even know if you really want this man or this relationship. You just really wanted the win of you've been waiting to be married and now you're married. You've been waiting for him to choose you, for him to, sometimes it's not even to stop dating other women because he's still dating other women. You just want to be the one that he married and now you got it. But then at the end of the day, now you're in this marriage, and are you actually happy in this marriage with what's happening with this man?
Yeah, an example of that is season 7, Clark and Taylor. Like, if you thought of Taylor as a prize, she got what she wanted, but now look what he has her doing. Look
The
how
20v1 was crazy.
yeah, like how insane that whole thing was. Their whole relationship was, you know. For the guys, I think that although I know you have a strong disdain for her, a lot of them thought that like getting Huda was like gonna be a prize, and then every guy that quote unquote won ended up being
hurt
and unhappy. So I think that's interesting too. It's just
That's true. That's very true.
remembering that like there is no, a partner is not a prize.
That is so true. I think the next thing that I learned from Love Island, which I think is so crucial for women to really get, is to trust the energy shift. Trust. I feel like we've all had times with someone where like, because of course you're talking to them because things started out well, right?
Yes.
But there's some time where it's like, oh, I'm getting less text, or I'm getting less calls, or we're talking less, or like he's not planning dates like he used to. You know, something is shifting. And there starts to be this inconsistency, and it's almost like you've been emotionally baited. And now you're like, well, what's happening? Is it just something happening in his life, or what's going on? And I think it's fair to like voice like, hey, I've noticed something, and have a conversation. But when that keeps happening, to trust that like something has shifted, and to like really start to pull back and to decide if this is something that you still
Trust
want.
your instincts
Yeah.
and your
Because
intuition.
I think when a man pulls back, we always want to like fill in the gap and like go after, right? Like, you're retracting, let me push forward. But instead, I feel like we kind of just need to fill in the gap with our distance as well. Like, if you're going to pull back, then I need to pull back too. Because if nothing has happened, and if you're saying that thing's wrong and you're changing it up, something's going on. And if you don't want
Yeah.
to verbalize it, if you're not able to verbalize it, I feel like we at that point we have to stop trying to like overcompensate. And sometimes I feel like over mother and over like, oh, let me make things better, let me do this and let me do that. And I think in season 7 in particular, I feel like, which is so sad, but the edits of Nick with Sierra, and he did not look
Yeah.
particularly over enthused, right? He did
Yeah.
not look great. Even
But I will say one thing for that is like giving yourself, I think too, giving yourself grace, but learning the lesson.
yes.
Because also too, I think there's a thing where as we're always on the outside looking in,
Hmm.
when you're in it, sometimes you don't necessarily see those things, but it is important to reflect on your dating.
I don't think you don't see them. I think you excuse them away. And I think there's
Really?
reasons why, because there's always a valid reason why something could be happening, right? There's always like, oh, he might be tired, a lot's going on. I think sometimes you excuse them away because they can be excused away.
Mm.
But I think like you definitely, if you go back and look, you definitely kind of sometimes notice like, this was a little odd. That
Okay.
behavior is a little off.
I
But
guess
also,
my question then is how do you find the line between like sometimes it is just somebody might be having an off day or whatever, you know?
yeah, that's true, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's fair to have conversations.
Okay.
And also, a day, anyone could have an off day, right?
Yeah.
But usually, what I've at least noticed is it's the beginning of the end. Like, it's a start of a decline, right? And so instead of having a trajectory of like things going well, y'all getting to know each other deeper, you're spending more time, the trajectory starts declining as far as intentionality, as far as effort. And I think you have to pay attention to like, where's the trajectory of this? Even with Huda and her relationships, like with Chris and Huda and with Jeremiah and Huda, I think in both of them she noticed a shift in energy, and there was a shift in energy.
Yeah.
And the men did not like, they started pulling back and retracting and not liking her, based on different things that were happening. But I think like to really be intentional about like there's shifts in energies that happen, and being perceptive and like,
Okay, maybe that's a better example because only for the Nick and Sierra, I'm like, these are edits after the fact that it's like
That's
very okay. So she was supposed to notice when she's not looking at him that he's looking off in the distance. You know what I mean? That's
Not
like
even
that's
that.
hindsight being 2020.
Not that,
and-
but there was also a point where they had, and also I feel like maybe this is a game show, so maybe both of, I feel like kind of both of them were not serious about each other, but they had a conversation about, oh, what does this mean outside, and about being close off, and then basically they're like, oh, it doesn't mean anything. They're still not going to be together. So just things like that where it's like,
yeah.
okay, like I don't know, where it's just like you don't seem that enthused, you know, or even the fact, and also it's a game social maybe, but the fact that he came back and was like, yeah, I kissed Olandria. Huh, that's interesting. Now it is a game show, so it's different. But just being more aware about like, all right, are the energies shifting? I think maybe also after a couple of years, or when you're married, of course, like different seasons, things are going to be different. But all of these couples are pretty new, so it's like when things, just like when you're starting to date someone, when things start shifting so early, it's like we haven't
Yeah.
even been talking for like 2 months. Like, what, you know?
That is fair.
You can't be tired yet.
That is fair. That is fair.
What about you?
For me, I think one thing is the glow up happens when you detach. I think like practicing the art of detachment in every area of your life is so important. And I think for dating it's probably super, super, super important, not just very important. For me, with everything in my life, when I think about like the super good things that I have,
Yeah.
it is the stuff that I was the most detached from the results.
Really?
Yes. Buying a house, I was not super attached to it. getting like my career trajectory. Whenever I go on an interview, I'm not super attached to the
Yeah.
outcome. And those are the interviews that I nail. I think sometimes when I'm so attached to like getting what I want, and it probably is why my dating life is a hot, funky mess, is because I used to be so attached and so anchored to like, oh, I want this to be a thing. I
Yeah.
want to be in this place. And so I think there's just so many good examples. For example, Leah. I think Leah like practiced the art of detachment, and then she ended up really connecting with Miguel and it being a natural flow. I feel like even Janae and Kenny in some regard, she realized like to detach because she was getting like so many bad results
Yeah.
with all the other guys. And once she kind of was like, okay, I'm just gonna be here or not,
Yeah.
things went well.
He's really farting up a storm.
My dog.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, he's sleeping good. I'm sorry. Now you're like, sorry.
I'm like, can you turn the other direction?
Deal with the poop.
Okay.
Let me light a candle for your friend.
I had to deal with this all last night. I literally was about to put Buddy's bed outside my door.
And tell them about how they're not watching the episode. They can watch and see the dogs.
Also, if you want to see the lovely dogs that we're referencing, this is Oreo sitting next to me, the black dog. On the floor somewhere is Max, the white doodle. They are both rescues. Hopefully next week you'll be able to see my dog Buddy.
Oh, girl, not you trying to add a dog, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to drop them off at your house, and we have to.
Oh, Buddy's gonna make his debut. Okay, you're not gonna hold Buddy down.
I had to light a candle because you're funky.
Sorry, he was putting up a storm. All right, so my last point, the last thing that Love Island taught me was don't stay to prove that you're the better option. I think sometimes we do ourselves a disservice when we overstay our welcome, when we're trying to overprove the point, right? When we're trying to hustle for love, as you say. And in season 6, I feel like Kayla, and I'm sure she regrets it now, stayed way too long. She gave it way too many chances. And sometimes one thing I also love that Love Island taught me, people don't like good things. People specifically, and not to say that any person on Love Island is not a good person or a good option, but people specifically sometimes will choose the objectively worst option for them.
Yeah, because people are operating off of their own baseline of like healedness.
Yeah.
I really do believe that we accept the love that we think we deserve.
Yeah.
I know that's like a very cheesy, popular saying, but I really do think it rings true where like even if you don't realize that you're doing it unintentionally, it happens where you will see mistreatment or a lack of care as normal if that is what you believe that you're worthy of. And it's also like, I think that we receive the love that we show ourselves, right? How we show up for ourselves and love ourselves every day, how we speak to ourselves, if we're very violent with ourselves, if we use like, and it sounds crazy, but like use emotional manipulation with ourselves, like, oh, if you don't wake up on time, you're a lazy bum. You know, those type of things, it shows up in the partners that we choose.
No, I definitely agree. And you know what also, where also I see this a lot, Love is Blind. Love is Blind also really opened my eyes to people will choose the objectively worst option, because there'll always be a season where like there's a love triangle, there's two people that the girl can choose or that the guy can choose, and you on the outside could be like, this one person's a maniac, clearly you should choose this other person. And literally 7 or 8 times out of 10 they're gonna choose the worst option. And so it really made me realize that like it's so much. So I think what's hard for us is to realize how many things are out of our control, especially if you are a control type of person. But realizing so many things are out of your control. All you can do is try to strive to be the best person you can be, to be as loving, as kind, as gracious as you can be, and the rest is up to God. So like trying to, and I feel like sometimes we the way we talk about pick me's these days is terrible, right? But like trying to like hustle and be everything that this person
Also
wants.
random, but I think it is crazy how that saying literally came from Grey's Anatomy.
There are so many sayings where I'm like, and you know another thing I hate? That saying came from Grey's Anatomy, but also there's so many sayings that are now considered millennial talk where it's like, this is AAV.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, not AAV.
Yeah,
AAVE. Yeah.
AAVE.
And like so many things are in the U.S. history is gonna go down as like, oh, millennials or TikTok, and it's like, no, it was
Yeah.
just black people. Also, side note, it's funny to start seeing like African terms get into the
How
millennial
does it
dialect.
feel?
It's just so funny because I'm like, it takes me aback where it's like monitoring spirit is now like,
Oh, is that an African term?
yes. I've
Oh,
been hearing monitoring spirit since I
they
was
wearing
young.
that monitoring spirit
Yes,
down, baby.
they wearing it to the
Everybody a
ground.
monitor. Are you a monitoring spirit? Let me watch
Also,
out.
at your big age,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
another. So I'm like starting to see like African Nigerian terms being into the lexicon. I'm like, whoa,
Right, and then wait until somebody's acting like they came up with
girl,
it,
I'm ready. I already know. It's
and
gonna be
then
like,
you're like, whoop.
well, no, everyone says, and it's like, baby,
No, yeah.
okay. I know people already hate that ballroom talk is all over and
I don't blame them. I don't blame them because then it's like you're not the originator.
and then also people are so mad that people think this means clock it, which it doesn't.
What does it mean, girl?
Okay, this is
She's
from
doing the little finger tap
the
thing
finger
from
tap.
TikTok, y'all.
This is what now the people who are saying they're mad, they will not say what it means because they believe in gatekeeping, and I respect that right.
Okay.
From my understanding, when I've seen this, it usually is like a mini applause. So you know how
Alright.
people snap at like
Like,
poetry?
period,
It's like
queen.
applause. Like, yes, you
That
did
makes
that.
sense. Like,
So I think when people
cutesy.
were doing that, but people would also do that when people would say something like, okay, yeah, you did
Like,
that.
wait that up.
But then people are started taking it as like, oh, like, because someone could be clocking someone saying something and be like, and it's like, oh, she's saying like she's clocking her when it's really like applause. So it's crazy how like language and like it's crazy how things start meaning different things.
Yeah.
And like when something that's in your culture gets outside of your culture and people just give it a meaning that it never was supposed to have.
Yeah, it is.
It's really that's how I feel about woke, which really angers me, but I've had to let that go.
Yeah, girl, let it go. Honestly, that's the thing, and it's so hard not to get radical, but sometimes it's like, dang, if only we could have like a social media. You know how I am about
Yeah.
that.
Don't-
I'm a black Southern girl.
Keep it in the house.
I grew up with, we keep certain conversations in the household. Don't go out this house telling too much of the business.
And-
not for the best all the time, but
Before we get to your point, that's one thing that will annoy me about Love Island. Let me tell you something. Do I agree with everything that a black woman might do on Love Island? No. Will I get on social media and drag another black woman? Unless she is Candace Owens bad. Like literally, a black woman will have to do a lot for me to publicly talk about her. Unless she came at me or my family or friends, or she like I don't know, like she would literally have to be an op of an op for me to get on Beyonce and Blue Ivy's internet and talk down about a black woman.
and especially like super negatively. I believe nobody is above critique in
Right.
a reasonable manner.
Right.
But I also think like, what kind of critique are you giving? And also too, who are you giving the critique? You're amongst mixed company.
Yes.
And that's my biggest thing about social media. And it's a lot of conversations we could talk about. It grinds my gears when I see black women on TikTok crying about being lonely and single and undesirable. I hate that so bad because at the end of the day, you're amongst mixed company.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is like, understand that while for you you're venting, for somebody else you're giving them the insult to throw it at a
I think
collective.
they're trying to find community though.
They
They're
are,
trying to-
but that's
where else
weird.
can they find it though if they are in the middle of podunk nowhere?
Girl, these people be in the Bronx. They be in Brooklyn crying about being single and lonely. You're in the biggest city in the world.
I mean, I have more grace for that because I do feel like people want to vent. They want to feel known and understood.
Yes, and they want to have community, but your community cannot. And I'm not saying it in a hateration way because we have both found community from social media.
Yeah.
I literally have made friends from my YouTube. Chizzy has made friends from like Clubhouse, had a whole crew. So you can find community. But I think
you
it's
judged
important.
me for at first.
I did judge her for it, but you have to take the community offline.
Yeah.
I think sometimes,
Yeah.
or have a Discord maybe.
What really used to get me is the black girls who would be crying about like white guys or black people or not being desirable. Like, which I understand desirability is a very hot topic, but sometimes it's like, girl, get it together. Get it.
Yeah, it's a hot topic and it's real. Like right now, for example, y'all, I'm struggling a lot with aging and what my desirability will look like as I age. And I know I sound crazy because we're still so young, but like it's something about, okay, I'm about to be 36. what does my desirability look like?
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
I'm not going to get online, though, crying about that. I'm telling y'all right now. But would I get on, you know?
But at least my thing is, all that is so much better than tearing down or dogpiling on a black woman on
Yeah.
the internet in defense of a non-black woman. Oh, you.
Unless she did something egregious.
Let me tell you something. The way my favorite thing to do is when it comes up on my timeline to block that person, because I love following, especially black women. So I'm like, let me make sure I never accidentally support you.
Okay.
So I block everyone I see.
Let me make sure.
Everyone I see. You get
And
blocked.
before y'all get slick, we love Leah down. So
Oh, yeah, we
love Leah down. I really like Kayla and Olivia. So
I
it's
haven't
not.
watched the new season.
I haven't either, but like I like
Or
them.
not the new season, the
show, the
Beyond the
spinoff.
Villa.
Yeah.
Okay.
We like them,
Mm-hmm.
like no complaints. I even like the girl Hannah from season 7. I thought she was super likable. Okay,
Sorry.
man, we talking about we recording a whole episode about
I don't remember Hannah. I'm sorry.
Hannah. I really liked Hannah from the reunion. I think her name's Hannah, the blonde.
There's so many blondes.
Yeah, but so there was like some that I liked. I thought Vanna really redeemed herself until recently. She had some things, but
Child.
the point is like it's not that. It's just like I'm not gonna go against the home team.
Oh no, never.
That's the main thing. Like,
Never.
not publicly. Now,
Not
will I
publicly.
text Chizzy something crazy about somebody? Absolutely. I'm gonna drag in the text messages. But you never gonna see me on the internet dragging unless you do something egregious.
Right. But anyway, we have
Sorry.
strayed far from the plot.
Okay, this is my last one. Sometimes you don't need to fix your personality or change yourself. You need to fix your picker. And actually, I'm gonna do a caveat of that also too. Sometimes the love of your life is not gonna come in the package you expect. And I think this is a real conversation to have as black women when it comes to like, you picture your husband being a 6'5" black stallion that look like Morris Chestnut from The Best Man, and he got muscles and he got a Q brand on him, and he likes to listen to Jeezy and drop, you know, like whatever your picture is. Sometimes it might be the nerdy white guy. Not even saying he's nerdy, but it might be the nerdy white guy. It might be the Asian guy. It might be opening your mind to the fact that like, sometimes the package is not going to come in the gift wrap that you expected. It's still going to be the Cartier bracelet, but it's not in the red box. It's in a red box that's wrapped in green wrapping paper.
Right.
But because you're so focused on the green wrapping paper, you never get to the Cartier.
And I think what's hard, because I mean, a great example of that, which is so funny, because I was texting you like, I really hope Olandria gives Nick a chance. I really hope she gives Nick a chance. And me, myself, I'm like, I get it, girl. Sometimes you have a picture in your head of what your life's going to look like, who that's going to be with, what your family dynamic is going to be. And so changing that, it's like, it's hard. It's hard to shift, especially particularly as black women, when you want a black family. You want a homogeneous black family. You want homogeneously black kids. Sometimes it's hard to like figure out like, dang, okay, a lot of things are gonna shift if you know what I mean. Like it's hard to like accept that loss when you had a certain view of how life's supposed to look like, and even like lesser things. If you just always like, I didn't realize I had a type until like recently, where it's like I like men who have like muscles, who have like.
The fact she didn't realize that until recently is delusional, because the way she loves to date a muscle man, and it grosses me out so bad. It grosses me out.
I date people who also don't have muscles though.
You like muscles. And
I
I
do.
think when you say not have muscles, they probably have like a 4-pack instead of an 8-pack. It's always like they always have like bodybuilder type bodies. And I just can't relate. But maybe I'm a chubby chick. No, I'm just kidding.
She likes a lineman build, okay?
I know. I just don't like muscle. So like either skinny, like I love a tall and
You
skinny
do not like
man.
muscles at all.
I just don't really see it for the muscles. Maybe a little muscle, but nothing like, I can't imagine a 6-pack.
He doesn't have to have a 6-pack.
4-pack, I can't imagine. I don't know.
You want a flabby stomach. You don't.
Not flabby, not even flabby, but just like, I can't imagine like a super muscular man. I can't picture it. I'm like, I want us to be in bed feeding each other Oreos.
You can still do that.
I don't know.
They have great metabolisms because they're lifting weights all the time.
Girl, I don't know. And then I imagine him telling me like, do another crunch. Like, no, ew.
That's the funniest thing though about the muscle. Like, I've never been like that great in shape, but I've always.
Yeah, I don't know, child. I can't picture it. But anyway, yeah, so like just being open to the package.
That's
like
true.
not being, again, And I understand for some people it's a hard line. And I think too, there's very clear boundaries to this.
Yeah.
His family needs to be a family that you can see yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
His family needs to be respectful,
Mm-hmm.
understanding, not be racist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? These are very normal things. He needs to not be hiding you, keeping you a secret. But I think when we get past all that, if the baseline is like, this is a good man.
Yeah.
He's a provider.
Yeah.
He's a protector.
Right.
He loves God.
Girl.
He's handsome to you. You know what I'm saying? And I know I can't really.
And that's the heart. Well, not even that I think, and one thing I'm also realizing is personality. Because we talk about physical type, but also personality type is also hard to get out of my head. I think that might even be harder for me.
Really? You have a personality type? What type of personality do you like?
I like people who are charismatic, who are like dynamic, who we can have engaging banter. Like there are some personalities. One thing that I do not do well with are people who are too goofy, overly goofy.
Yeah.
As far as like I don't find that romantically attractive. So like even a friend was trying to hook me up with someone. Let me not say too much, and I'm like, oh, person is perfectly a nice person, but like they're very goofy in personality type, and it's a turn off for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, let me think. I don't know if I like a goofy man either.
Yeah, it's just like, because to me, and I don't know, maybe I'll have to go investigate some things, but I like a very masculine man too. Like and to me, it's kind of like a certain amount of silliness kind of detracts for that for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I like for us to be silly together. I love to cackle about stuff.
But to me, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like, and it's hard to kind of differentiate. I feel like also a certain level of goofiness kind of goes into kind of corniness.
Okay.
But yeah, so just really kind of get out of the personality type, but also trying to balance like what will work for me and what won't.
Yeah, because you don't want to just be like, oh, I'm giving up everything just to know. You have to be realistic. Like, I have to want to have this man kiss me. You know? Like,
I have to want to have his baby.
Yeah, I got to feel a little something.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just being open, you know, to, and at least you can admit, like, where you don't, like, things that you don't like, you know, and you're, like, at least open, or maybe not. I don't know.
I'm working on it.
Me, Chad, I done dated the rainbow, so I can't say nothing. But as a grown woman, I've mostly dated black men, so.
I have only dated black men. I think I went on one date with a non-black man.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I think I dated in France, so I probably have gone on several. But that's traveling. That don't count.
Love overseas, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count. Anyway, as we wrap this up, Krystal, what are your takeaways?
For me, my biggest takeaway from all this is like just having good boundaries and also realizing that it's not that deep. I think for dating, that is my biggest takeaway consistently when you're just starting to date somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just simply not that deep. Like, when it comes to like rejection or things not working out, you cannot wear it as a mark, the scarlet letter, because one guy you met one time from a dating app didn't like your shoes. You gotta move on. Like, it's just not that deep. These people don't know you for real. And you know what I mean? Like, you can't let rejection just stop the flow.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're just not that person's pick.
That's true.
What about for you?
I think for me, it's just embracing who you are and being comfortable in who you are in everything. I think in looks, I think in personality, I think in all the things. I think there are certain things for us or for women in general, where you think like this is a negative.
Yeah.
And you never know what someone else's positive is, right? There is this drag performer, I think it's Katja, who said like, I don't have to sleep with me. So how I look is none of my business.
Literally.
and I was like, that is so interesting. But they're like, if this person who wants to be me finds me attractive, that's none of, and so like realizing that like, all these things that I might be like, oh, I wish my thighs were smaller. I wish my.
And isn't it funny? Because it's like, you've never gotten naked. It's not even like, ew, gross.
Never. But in your mind,
like, in your mind, I'm like, you like this belly and this cellulite? You saw these stretch marks and said, woo.
Let me tell you something that is a bit fatphobic.
Oh, girl. Don't get us
Let's get canceled before the end of season 1. Because I'm on a weight loss journey. I've been on a weight loss journey all my life. The yo-yoing is terrible. But I have, like, being overweight has never stopped me from dating. To the point where sometimes I'm like, what's wrong with you? why are you like, why are you into this? I literally had to stop dating at a point because I'm like, I don't have respect for these men.
No, I'm not gonna lie. My COVID boo, I was like, wow, you're a chubby chaser, and you don't even know it. And I'm the chubby that you're chasing.
It gets to a point where it's like, nigga, do you have standards? Like,
Girl,
what are
or
we doing
even
here?
now, yeah, the guy that I met, where I'm like, oh, I thought he was gonna text me. I was like, this? Really?
And it really
And I
reminds
think
me.
I had gray hair too, so I was like, wow, whoa, fat and old, crazy.
I mean, it's great though, because I feel like there's an anime Dragon Ball Z where like the villain Frieza, he's like, this isn't even my final form.
Yeah.
So that's how I be feeling where I'm like, I'm cute to you now. Okay.
Just wait.
Okay. Just give it a couple more months. Anyway, boo, what was a bit much for you this week?
Okay, so a bit much for me this week is my nosy neighbors who moved my trash can when I let it sit out a little too long. Y'all, it is so, and I don't know if let me say, maybe they're being helpful, maybe they're being neighborly, but I'm like, leave my trash can alone. The trash can gets picked up at 6, or sometimes like 5 or 6 a.m., y'all, on Wednesdays. I work from home on that day. So if I don't go get my trash can right away, it's because I haven't left the house, like to go, like move the car. I haven't moved the car. Get off my back.
Aww.
What's your a bit too much for the week?
My bit too much for the week has been happening for over a month. I have been shopping too much.
Girl, I'm not gonna lie. I've been wanting to clock her tea. She has on new clothes every time I see her, and I'm like, that's interesting.
I think
that's suspicious.
I think what happens sometimes, because I'm really coming out of like a month of my, when I told you I was sad about realizing I'm turning 36. Sometimes when I'm sad, it can go either way. But one thing that happened this time, especially because I couldn't eat because I'm like being strict about diet and exercise, I'm like, well, I have to look amazing because I can't be ugly and sad. So I've just been shopping a lot, and I've just been like putting a lot more effort into how I look. And I've come to the point where I'm like, I must be stopped. So I'm taking 60 days off of clothing shopping, specifically because I will still be buying shoes. But 60 days
Okay.
It's a start. 60 days off of clothing shopping, because my shopping, whenever we talk about finances, I'll tell them about my shame, my Afterpay shame.
Okay.
My Klarna shame.
Not Afterpay and Klarna shame.
When I was like, okay, baby, you're doing a little too much, because why is the Shein order that is $60?
Ma'am, listen, I'm not even gonna judge you.
Mind you, I
But
had
just
the
know-
money. I just was like, I can't
Yes,
keep
and stop that
spending.
because you know they're putting it on your credit now.
If you don't pay though.
Just in general, I think it's gonna be on your credit. It's gonna show like a line of credit. So then it's gonna show you have all these lines of credit open.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's what I heard at least. I don't know.
Hopefully it has to at least be over a certain amount. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's
Oh, that
crazy.
would make more sense.
That would be insane. But yeah, so that's what's been a teeny bit much for me right now.
Don't forget to follow, rate us, and leave a review. We're trying to chart y'all on Apple Podcasts. Is that crazy because this is our second episode? Yes, but anything is possible. So make sure that you leave us a review, and be sure to follow us at A Tini Bit Much on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the places.
And I don't know if it's a teeny bit much or a teeny bit much pod, so try both. But yes, please support us so that I can get I can shop again, because we really do need this to be successful.
Okay, now play the preview. You know his little name, but you don't know he had a wife.
Back from a date, and he was messaging me in a way, and I'm like, am I cheating?
Because like me and him kissing, and then there's like to the side 2 men and a woman just standing there.
Like this thing, I feel like some black women have like this heavy fear with like traveling and like reception of black people and reception of black women,
Which
and,
is
like,
wild.
which